A gang has to be truly desperate to hire Psyreena Skar. Unstable and unpredictable, she sells her fickle psychic gifts to gangs willing to pay her price, though offers no guarantees as to what will happen when she opens her mind to the warp. Even when attempting to suppress her powers, Psyreena is uncomfortable to be around, always muttering to herself, arguing with her shadow, or telling those she's just met how sorry she is about their impending demise. Psyreena was not always so broken, however, and not so long ago, she was a Holsteader's daughter, working the ash wash below Dust Falls. One day, when digging in the furthest point of her dad's Holstead, she found a strange ornate jar buried in the ash. It looked far too fine to have come from the Underhive, and so she took it back to her father, thinking they might be able to sell it to the local guilders for a few creds. That evening, as the family sat around their rad hearth admiring Psyreena's find, the jar mysteriously opened. Peering inside, they discovered a strange pinkish substance suffused with a fragrant smell. Psyreena's little brother was the first to scoop out a mouthful, and within moments the starving family was feasting on the contents. Unbeknownst to the family, the relic was one of the lost jars of Mung, and the contents, the preserved brain of Kukrin Korlipin, astropath to the lost house of Mung. This oddity might have passed unnoticed by the family if not for the latent psychic spark it awoke in Psyreena. Reflexively, she opened her mind to the immaterium and in that moment incinerated her family and their Holstead in a single explosion of power. Since that day, she has wandered the Underhive as an unsanctioned psyker, staying ahead of the authorities and selling her services to those more afraid of their enemies than having a loose cannon like Psyreena around. Howdy folks, and welcome back to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon, and this is the series where I give you bite-sized videos on every single hired gun and dramatis personae in the game of Necromunda. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment down below to keep the algorithms popping off for me, and check out the Patreon as well if you'd like to support me further in this massive, massive endeavour. Anyway, looking at another Psyker here, we've had quite a few weirds in the game so far, and most of them have been underwhelming. The last video I did, though, Ortram 8.8 was one of the better ones. Psyreena Skar here is also one of the better ones as well, if you ask me. 105 credits for Psyreena Skar. There is no official model for this one, unfortunately, but the image in the illustration here is pretty cool. She does look quite chaotic with the spiky sort of armor and stuff, but definitely a good looking sort of illustration that I can see many people could easily kit bash or convert something up for this model. She's available in the Book of Judgment as well if you want to get hold of that, and you can find all of the lore and stuff around her as well. In terms of the stats and the price, of course, I did say she's 105 credits, which is pretty cheap, really, when you look at what she can offer you. Stats here, we've got a movement of 5, weapon skill 3+, which is pretty good for a Psyker, 4+ ballistic skill, strength and toughness 3, 2 wounds, an initiative of 3 up, 2 attacks, and the mental stats are leadership 6+, cool 5+, willpower 7+, which is average, and intelligence 6+. So pretty good mental stats, but the willpower being average is not a problem, but it's okay here. But she's certainly better than your average hive scummer. In terms of the weapons here, we just have a knife and flak armor as armor here as well. So really, really basic in terms of what she does, but you're not buying her for her combat or her shooting prowess. You're buying her merely for her single weird power, which is a telekinesis power called Psychic Shockwave. Now, she is an unsanctioned Psyker and has all the rules around unsanctioned Psyker here as well. But in terms of Psychic Shockwave, I'll just highlight what that does. Psychic Shockwave is telekinesis. It's a basic weird power, and it is as follows. Make the following ranged attack: 12-inch short range with +1 to hit, 24-inch long range. Pretty good. Strength 4, -1 AP and 2 damage with concussion, pulverize, and reckless. So if you really look at the stats for that, it's pretty much a sort of bolt gun without rapid fire. In place of the rapid fire, we have concussion, pulverize, and reckless. Reckless obviously is not great, because it means that you could quite easily shoot your fellow men in the gang. But it does have pulverize and concussion, which is pretty cool as well. So I know what you're saying. Reckless is a big bad thing there, I suppose, to have on this psychic power, but It's pretty powerful if you hit people with a damage 2, AP -1, strength 4 hit, generally speaking. It's basically, yeah, like a version of a bolt gun that isn't quite as reliable. Of course, you don't have to run out of ammo on this. That's worth mentioning. You're never going to run out of ammo on this one as long as you can keep casting it with your psychic ability and rolling that 7+ each time without rolling those doubles and perils of the warp and all that. But that is Psyreena Skar. It's an interesting one. I think she definitely has some value, but it's kind of a shame in the description there she's described as having all these gifts and all these different sort of powers, but she's really only got one power, so she is kind of a one-trick pony on that, and it's a shooting attack. It's worth mentioning, of course, that you still need to hit the target with your ballistic skill of a 4 up, which is definitely very average there, so that's worth bearing in mind as well. But I do quite like her. I like that psychic power. I think it's an interesting one. But yeah, you've got to use it very carefully when you've got Reckless involved, I suppose, there too. So anyway, that's probably enough for Psyreena Skar. I will be back with another video super soon. Peace out.